Hello, blessed star family, angel family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In real time, it is January 11th, 2026. And when you put them all out together, it comes out to 11:11 on 11. It's very powerful. It's very beautiful. Angel numbers, new beginnings. And then the best part is when you add them together, it's the number 4. About a strong, solid foundation. It's about stability. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Get yourself something to drink, eat, or just sit there and listen, whatever feels good to you. We've got some offerings for the ancestors here. We've got a little sparkle. We've got our little angel over here. And you know what's interesting is the color today is gold. So it's interesting that it's also on the angel day, and even though I have other things I could use for representations of angels, this little angel is brassy, but it's like a gold color. So I thought that was cool. Also, Spirit called me to wear one of my vintage pieces that was gifted to me by a beloved angel sister, and it is gold. So I'm very excited. I actually started calling in the 4 quarters and all that good stuff. And as I was doing that, 133, by the way, they want me to write that down. That is our angel number to work with, 133, which is also the number 7. But I got this vibe that they really wanted you guys to be in on it with me. So give me 1 second here. Okay. So before we dive into me calling in the energies, Spirit said, please drink some clean, healthy water. Coffee's not water, actual water, because we're going to be doing a lot of energy work today as well. So they want you to stay hydrated. Working with Spirit can dehydrate the avatar. We are made up mostly of water, but water is a huge element in the universe as well. It feels like almost like a universal love language, but also like a currency. It's very interesting what they're showing me right now. So drink some water. They said today is going to be kind of a doozy. It's going to blow some of your lids off. They said. That's awesome. Okay, so make sure you get that water, even if you have to pause it or stop what you're doing. Or don't participate in the healing and then just go straight to the reading. They may have me put timestamps, I'm not sure. But if not, I guess just like zoom ahead till you see cards coming out, or I don't know. I have no idea. I love whenever I'm doing a channeling like this, a group event, I have the blessing of really just being the avatar and the soul, but also where I am here, of course I'm here, but I am really being navigated and guided by our angel brethren. And I feel like a lot of you that are here are angels. So they're saying, do some stretches, angel family. Do some stretches. Close your eyes too, like get stable, drink some water. We're going to do some stretches, stretching, moving around. They want us to ground in our avatar. And also, if they call me to, I'll put it in the description box. Always check out the description box for little extras, and also information if you'd like to work with me or if you'd like to contribute to this channel in any way. And always remember that prayer is free and it's a beautiful form and exchange of energy. Okay? So, however feels good. You want to do dragon breathing? Do dragon breathing. And when you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, they want you to think about keeping your eyes closed, being grounded and centered in your body, doing whatever feels good to you right now, whatever feels good to you. But they want you to keep your eyes closed because you'll really connect with us on a different level. If you're driving, if you're watching something, or if you're playing a game and, a crossword or something and you're watching this is one of those that happens to me too. I love to play my little Pac-Man game when I'm listening to spirit work because I know my subconscious is taking it in. But sometimes when it's a participant energy like this, they really want us to be focused. So you really can't be doing two things at once, you know? It's hard to drive and really connect with yourself, or it's hard to, you know, be talking to somebody or whatever. So I don't know who this message is for, but they're being very specific about those things. Feel free to comment below. That happens to me sometimes when I'm, you know, I'll watch something. Freaked me out actually, something I watched yesterday, and she had all these charms. I mean, like hundreds and hundreds in this big bin thing. And she only pulled out like maybe 4 or 5, and she pulled out a fucking Pac-Man. Because I was like, am I being too, like, am I connecting too much, you know, or not connecting enough with your spirit? Like, are you trying to tell me something? I mean, come on. I know Pac-Man is having a, you know, a rejuvenation. All the 80s and 90s are. But at the same time, I was like, wow, that's really fucking on the nose. So I may have hit a chord for somebody, and there's no shame in this. This is just that they're calling you out to be like, hey, angel, light worker, starseed, whatever you align with. Like right now I'm stretching, but I'm also like rubbing like my muscles that are feeling a little tight and tense, and they're saying, do a nice little rub on that. You can feel the heat and the friction go into that. And for those of you who have essential oils or some natural herb remedies at home, you can make yourself oils. I'm hearing you may want to, you know, it's winter. We're full on into winter now in the Northern Hemisphere. And so I know for myself, I'm not moving as much. I can feel that my body is like urging me to please move around, please get up, please do something, you know. So this is a little call to all of us to rest, yes. But what I was going to say is I'll put a link in the description box from Motivational Doc, and he spoke about that, and he said something about that it's BS, you know, that people are like, oh, I'm just getting old. And you know what? And I'm going to just say this because I've seen enough and experienced enough, and I'm 54 years old. And I may be in my early crone, but I'm in my crone now. And I noticed somebody recently who I love their channel. I love their content. I love their heart. But I have noticed in my experience, myself as well, because I've been everything from a 00 to a size 22, that people who do not want to work out, whether they are very thin or on the heavier side, will say it's age, but it's not. It's motivation. And that's why you see people, you know, I saw this woman who's still doing gymnastics in her 80s. I mean, it was kind of freaking me out what she could do. And, but also in a good way, freaking me out, because I'm an ex, you know, gymnast, right? And I say, oh, I can't do this, or, oh, I can't do that. Keep stretching. Keep breathing in and out. We're going to get to the healing. And long story short, I was watching their content, and she said, it sucks getting older. And I was like, yes, but it's also very tough on our bodies when we're moving into our 50s and 60s. You know, our bones have seen a lot of things. Our bodies have seen a lot of things. And even though we have regenerative energy and regenerative cells and all that good stuff, and we can, you know, they know that, you know, our organs, you know, can heal themselves and cleanse themselves and regenerate and whatever. Even though we know this, we are the ones that have to actually do the physical exercise, and we have to eat the right things. The one thing that's been driving me crazy lately, because why does it drive me crazy? Because I used to be like that, right? The mirror is that kind of thing. Oh, you know, it's winter and I'm just, oh, you know, I just want to have my comfy foods. Don't judge me. Because it's interesting. I watch these shows. I like to watch van lifers, and like, you know, a lot of the things I watch on YouTube are other content creators. And because I live in a tiny home off grid too, I always like to watch them, and I always gain tips, you know, for living this way. But it really frustrates me how horrible so many people eat, yet they're like promoting health and, you know, taking good care of yourself and getting outside, but yet they're like eating really horrible foods and horrible brands. Or they'll be like, oh, I'm eating this healthy thing, but like, you know, I eat this. And I thought, it doesn't cancel it out, but it definitely, I've noticed, I've been doing experiments with myself as well. There are just certain foods that don't like to be eaten together. They don't digest the same. And so your body, it's like, that's why you're having irritable bowel syndrome, or why you're having stomach aches, or why people have fibromyalgia. There's like all of these things. It's like what we put in and on our bodies. This is a message from the angels. They're like, stop fucking around. You know, I kind of threw that in. My Southside Chicago Kelly came in, but because that's the energy I feel. You know, I've been feeling this loving, gentle light coming from them, but then I'm also feeling like that base of the light when we're fraying into the shadow, right? We have to remember that that place exists. And that's what the balance is about today. That's what the 1111 is. Also, if you ever look in the Four of Wands in the imagery, it's four pillars holding up, and it means like, you know, like marriage and like prosperity and like grounding and like a good solid foundation, a good home. And that's the image that I'm getting from Spirit. So, you know, I found out recently something I was working on. I was trying to experiment with my food to see, like, because there are certain processed foods that I buy just because I really don't know how to replicate it, or I've tried and it just doesn't, you know. And so they're like, okay, then fine, like just do that once in a while, but start trying to work on this. And I've noticed that the less I judge myself, the less harsh I am. Absolutely no shame. And I'm not trying to shame other people. I'm just saying that, like, I know what it's like, and it's like they're just excuses. But what makes me more like frustrated, I guess, is that's that right there, that bit, that piece where people are like, oh, I just, myself included, right? When we say, oh, it's no big deal, or oh, it's okay. Yes, once in a while we can handle certain things, but not once a week, not even once a month. Because your body needs 30 days to regulate itself. And I've done this. You guys know when I went through my whole thing with pancreatitis, like I had a lot of things that I had to go through with my diet. A lot of experiments. I got down to 88 pounds. It was frightening. I didn't even know a 00. Like I'd seen it, but it looked like clothes that would be worn on a toddler. I mean, seriously. I found some recent pictures of me and I was very upset. Like it's so wild. I mean, I didn't think I'd come back from that. But part of that was when I was working with my Native American teachers, you know, they were telling me how the body has to go to like a death itself. The body has to hit kind of a rock bottom as well until we just say no more, or I don't want that, or that doesn't feel right to me. You know, I mean, there was a time where I made my own tortilla chips, and I'm like, now I have an oven again and I can't make any excuses. But I've been finding myself making excuses for things. But then what I realize is it's the pattern. It's the pattern of the lethargy, but the lethargy is coming from the foods that I really don't need to eat. But the foods that I really don't need to eat are coming from my inner child, who is like freaking out that she can never have that again. I went through this death. I went through this with myself when I was dying for real. And recently my organs were like telling me, like, you know, we don't want these things. We don't want to work harder. You know, that old saying, work smarter, not harder. There are ways to have that craving. I had a friend who loved chocolate. It was just an obsession. She loved it. And she went through a terrible thing with her weight as well. When she finally got to the place where she felt the most beautiful and most comfortable in her skin, she found that there were these cookies that she liked. And she gave herself one cookie every night after dinner. Some nights she didn't want the cookie, but it was the fact that she had that to look forward to, that dangling carrot at the end of, you know, the fishing line. But Spirit saying, do whatever you need to do. But this is very intense energy that we're going to be experiencing, and it's only going to get more intense. And your body won't be able to handle certain things. And you're probably already feeling ascension symptoms and not feeling well. But see where things are tied in. Like, why are you keeping that perfume? Or why do you continue to, use that lotion when you know, like, it's really bad for your skin? And skin is like the biggest organ on your body. It's holding all your innards in. You know what I'm saying? Just like really looking at our avatar and loving it and saying, you deserve better. You deserve more. Spirit is showing us, as we go into the healing right now, they want you to, if you open your eyes, that's fine. If they're still closed, that's wonderful. But reclose your eyes, connect with Spirit, take in those deep breaths again. And really let it out when we're doing the healing. Right? Like if there's something inside that really needs to come out. Be like, like, what do you need to do? Like, stand up. They're saying stand up if you need to, and just shake it out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. I heard Florence in the Machine earlier today, and she said, it was run fast for your mother and fast for your father, run for your sisters, for your brother, something. Leave all your love and your loving behind. You can't carry it with you if you want to survive. The dog days are over. And they want you to start thinking. We'll put a link in the description box. That is our anthem for 2026. Not only that, but she said, the horses are coming, so you better run, right? Oh, I love it. And I was like, I was like literally like taking a shower, my little sponge bath that I do. I was having my cleaning and my avatar self-care day. And it was just this really beautiful moment that it's like, I've heard that song a gazillion times. It's like, she's one of my favorite artists of all time, but I love Florence Welch. I mean, she's so magical. Like literally, they're so magical. If you have not heard their new album that came out in 2025 in October, you have got to listen to it from beginning to end. It is something else. And it is the story of her losing her child. It is so profound. It is so beautiful. You may even want to like read about it before you hear it. But I just got the chills. But it's just, especially for any of you who have lost a child in any way, shape, or form, it is a very, it's a horrible, horrible experience. But her body rejected it, and she was like, I'm just going to listen to my body. My body does not want that. And I'm not saying I won't ever have children, but like, if it happens, it happens, but I'm not, but she went through the whole mourning of it. And I mean, it's a really interesting story. I really, actually, if they call me to, I'll get her interview with, it might've been Rolling Stone, but it is so profound. I was like bawling my eyes out. And especially when she started crying, I was just crying even harder because she's just so powerful. I mean, talk about Earth Angel, So with that all being said, they want us to be the most prepared we can be. There is no other time. This is it. No more dress rehearsals. We're on. I'm like, I heard, we're on, kids, right? Like, we're on. We're on. So we are the leaders. Like I said, today in real time is the 11th. February 17th is the transfer of the snake to the horse. It's also the new moon in Aquarius. We are in Aquarius energy. You know what I mean? Like in the age of Aquarius, we are in it. And we will have the new moon in Aquarius. It's so powerful. And the most amazing part is it comes out to the number 10, even though it's February 17th. Or is it 11? Hold on. Wait. No. Hold on. No, because 2026 is a 1. February is a 2. And then the 1 for the 7. Yeah, it's an 11. Holy shit, you guys. Like, that's what I'm saying. And maybe that's what they wanted us to see, that this is real. This is not a joke. This isn't a movie or a TV show. This is, I mean, it kind of is. In other places, they're definitely like eating popcorn and watching our story for sure. But this is something altogether different. So raise your glasses, so to speak. Raise your hands up in the air. And connect to the divine. And I call in your higher self, my higher self. I call in our spirit guides and all the angels and archangels who wish to be here today in light, in love, in shadow. That's in the greatest and highest good of all of us. May this container be opened and connect us to the angelic realm. Thank you to the witches and the healers and the deep down believers in magic. We call upon the healing energies of the universe that are meant to be here in any way, shape, or form for every individual, every energy that is here. Thank you all for showing. Thank you for being here with grace and gratitude. We welcome you into this home, into this domicile, into this session. All you have to say is, I accept this healing and clearing with grace and gratitude. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit, for healing us from the inside out and the outside in of our mind, body, and soul. Thank you for balancing and clearing all of our chakras and auric field of that which no longer serves our greatest and highest good individually and for the collective. We open this container of light and love for the collective with our golden energy of the angels. Blessed be the 1111. We are one. We are here together. If you're here, you are an angel. You wouldn't be here otherwise. It's okay. Some of you already know that. Maybe you just needed a confirmation. Some of you, you're like, what? No, that's crazy. Yes, you. Yes, you. Yes, you weirdo. You outcast, you freaky freak. That's what we are. That's why we stand out. That's why they make fun of us. Because they know we're different and we're powerful, and it frightens them. But Spirit is saying, do not be afraid of who you are. Accept this healing. You are a star. We are all stars. This is our year. We're millionaires. We're famous for being ourselves. We need to be. We are the beacon of light that was brought here to be. The ultimate challenge for thee, for us to see, for them to be, all of us one and all. Don't fight it. I'm hearing some of you. You're fighting back. You don't want it. Don't leave. Don't run away. It's okay. I've been where you are. But accepting yourself, bright shining star, that's where you have to know that this is above and below. It's bigger than you. We call upon all the angels and archangels from every direction. North, south, east, and west, as above, so below, and all the energies that align with them as well. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for this healing, and it will continue to heal. You don't have to close any portal. It will naturally close when it's done. The energy knows what to do. Trust it. Trust it. Have faith. Have faith in yourself more than anything else. Why are you here? Why are you still here? Why are you listening? Have no doubts or fears, my friends. I have so many chills all over my body. There are so many powerful. I just saw these like big white wings unfurl. We have like Grand Master dragons here, Grand Master angels. Like, you are divinely protected. You probably already know this, but they just want you to really understand who you are and what your magic is. They want me to say this again. You are not crazy. And even if someone told you so, they said with love, consider the source. Consider the source, okay? And a lot of people who call you names, it's because they're jealous. They don't understand. They don't know. They don't understand. So they're saying just give them that peace and tranquility. Mirror love back to them. All of a sudden, I just got really cold. They're saying mirror love back to them. Okay, so 2515 is also an angel number. And then I saw 2517. I just opened my eyes and it felt like because of the semicolon was separating them, I feel like it could be an angel number, but it also feels like ages, 25 and 17, or it could be 25 is a 7 and 17 is an 8. So even that is the number 15, which comes out to the number 6. 6 has also been a big number since we've been coming into the new year, and not just because it's 2026, but there's a revelation in the number. And what they're saying is research number 6. I'll put all these in the description box so that you will have them. You can take notes if you want to, but just know that I will provide that for you, okay? So you can just concentrate on this healing and concentrate on this teaching. That is my gift to you. Okay, so listen. 6 is after 5. 5 is the number of hardships, transition, transformation. And 6 is the, oh, we got through 5. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they want you to feel like. 2026 is going to look and feel very tumultuous on a lot of levels. We're going to see a lot of things happening. But remember that think of like Sodom and Gomorrah and like all these things. Like, things have to be completely torn down and destroyed before we can rebuild. So right now we're in the process of tearing down the old structures, the old energies, the old belief systems, and coming back into the original belief systems that were already existing on this planet. 3D is like the third dimensional energy is like the bottom of the ring. So they want you to know that we are done with that. And the vibrational energy that Gaia will be moving at, people will not be able to survive. We will see a lot more people die. We will see a lot more big groups of people dying. But you have to remember, it's like, whenever, what was that movie with the plane crash? They were all supposed to die, but something happened. And then after they survived, or the plane crashed and some people survived, and death kept coming for them. I think it's called Final Destination. It's very eerie, but it's actually, I've watched several of them and they're very interesting, the way that they would bring those forward. But yeah, it's like when it's your time, it's your time. And, sometimes people, you can try and change fate, but it's still going to come for you. And if I remember correctly, I think they changed seats with people or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time. It was from the 90s or like maybe 2000 or something. But they're fascinating because it just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter. And so people are starting to get freaked out because they're like, these people are dying. They're not dying, just like randomly. It's like, well, they're dying randomly. I don't want to give it away if you've never seen it, but it's like weird things. Like, I think one of them like is in a bathtub and like some electronic falls in there. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this to give you any fear. This is more of like awareness of, we can try and trade and tempt fate, but at the same time, what's meant to be is meant to be. So they want you to have that knowledge, knowing that you're going to die. We're all going to die. Maybe tomorrow, maybe a year from now, and maybe 100 years from now. Maybe we'll have some technology in several years from now and we'll realize, according to some of these old texts and these books, I mean, humans lived like 200-300 years. So it's very interesting how we've changed and evolved. And we can see now that there's different parts, and they're unearthing like worlds and like, cities and stuff under the water and in the pyramids, and where they're like, no, this is from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Like there's no way, you know. So we're really seeing all the fabricated bullshit of how much history has been rewritten and grotesquely tried to be rewritten by these, you know, very outdated energies and entities. They're just us who've lost their way, you know. So now we're just setting things straight. So they're saying, if you found yourself here today, the reason that they wanted to talk to you is that they're saying, this is the time. And for some of you, you are absolutely, positively going to have to change your life and overhaul, from your job to your friends, your family, maybe even for some of you where you live. You know, maybe you live in one place, but you've always wanted to live in another place. They're like, well, that's because you're supposed to be there. If you have a longing or a yearning for something, it's part of your destiny. That's like the one thing that we were given. Yes, they gave us, you know, these kind of blinders and walls so we couldn't see all these things, so that we came here to be human for a reason, you know, to make a difference in these human avatars. Otherwise, we're outside of an avatar and we have some influence, but, you know, free will is the, you know, it's the key of planet Earth. So there is an energy and an entity that is doing its job to continually observe and keep track, right? Several, right? The Akashic record is there too, to, you know, be like, okay, well, this is what was decided, this was what was written, because we've tried many times in different ways on planet Earth, and it's a training ground for the soul. These avatars are so short-lived, but we will never die. We will go into something else. And again, that's something that was written, you know, way beforehand, and we'll know. I had a recent past life experience, and it made so much sense because I kept seeing myself in like the 30s and the 40s, but I also saw this version of myself in like the 1910s and 1920s, and I realized, I was like, holy shit, I was a spy. And I've had this going on for a long time, and I've been talking about it a lot because it keeps coming up in my dream state, or like when I'm talking to spirit, or just like randomly. I could be doing the dishes and I have like this memory. I mean, I'm like, I hid something in a tree, I think in Israel, and I don't know what it is or what, I mean, it's so bizarre, and it's hard to explain. But it just made me realize that I know that our mission here, you guys, is so much bigger than we can understand it. And maybe I am meant to travel somewhere, and maybe I hid something in a tree that I'm going to find now, like 100 years later. But nobody knows of this tree. Nobody knows of it but me. I mean, it could be any tree. And like I said, I think it was in Israel, but it could have been in the country I was from, which they've been like only showing me so much. But I think I was American, but I don't know for sure, because I kind of feel like I might have been Eastern European as well. But then I've seen myself in Israel, but I'm in a costume. But it almost feels like I'm a performer, and that's why I can get away with things. I'm like ridiculously beautiful. But that was like part of the plan, right? Because men were, I could easily like get them to do my bidding. So I was a perfect spy, because I want to say, I don't know if I was famous or something like that, but I feel like I was an entertainer, because for the longest time I thought I was some type of like in the military, but I was like, no, but like my outfit kind of, like I was wearing like it almost looked like a pencil skirt and like a tucked in blouse, but I had a tie on and like a hat, and it was weird. It was really crazy. But I had this way of getting to all these different places where people trusted me. And if I ever was called out on stuff, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Please, I don't get involved with politics. I just want to have fun, and I don't care who I screw, like, you know, cute things like I kind of see that side of me, which I'm like, I think that's just part of my soul that knows how to, you know, that's why I have Lula's Labyrinth, you know. Acting is so easy for me. I can manifest or channel any energies that I've ever worked with. And so even if it's not my story, I can see somebody else's pain and suffering, and I can channel that. So there's something magical, and I think I've done this throughout history and throughout time, in different ways, because I'm so connected to music and acting and the arts, and from sewing my own clothes and designing my own clothes, to cutting and coloring my own hair, and you know what I mean? It's just like this part of me, and I feel like this is the way I've always been. So, get in touch with those sides of you. They're calling to you. If there's anything that keeps gnawing at you, whether it's an old feeling, an old look that you liked, or maybe when you were a child you wanted to be X, Y, and Z, and you're like, I still want that. It's because it's still calling to you. It is your purpose. It's what you're meant to do here. And it may not look like you thought it would look. And Spirit's saying, be open to what it looks like. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. I hope that makes sense. So drink some water. Okay, warmed up a little bit. I'm going to turn the heater off, and I'm sure we'll channel more stuff. Some of you may still feel the vibrations of the healing energy going through you. Some of you may not. But I'm hearing, don't question, just allow. I've been watching a few things recently where I just have to vehemently disagree. This guy was talking about energy and just putting your, and I was like, yes, but I feel like when it's the reverse, when we're receiving energy from spirit, and definitely in a healing energy that we've called in, that we've all co-collectively called in for our individual, selves and outer, inner, all that, healing us from the inside out and the outside in. It's all of it. So I know that the energy knows, like, when it's done, it's done. When the healing is done, it's done. If it continues, it may linger, Also, I'm hearing stretching, water, and also they're saying it's pretty simple. They're saying just don't take in more than you're using. So if you're going to have a day where you want to be a little more lazy, they're like, that's fine. It's just what the Motivational Doc was saying. Every 45 minutes, at least get up and stretch for like 5 minutes. Just stretch. Watching a movie, pause the movie. Go, take a pee break. Go relieve yourself, do what you need to do, grab something to drink or eat or whatever, but just stretch. And, because he was explaining that if you don't do that, your body literally goes into a form of like lethargy. And, well, he explained it better, but basically, like, that's why people are like, oh, I'm getting older and I can't move as good, or, oh, my knees are acting up and my back. And it's like, yeah, because we have to keep interacting with our avatar. The only reason why people are getting old is because they stop moving. So their body starts to go into like a form of decay. It really does. He was explaining it. It makes perfect sense. And I've been listening and doing that. And he's so right. When I start to feel, because the way I live and the weather has been like, stormy or whatever, I only have so much space I can move around. So I'll get up and I'll go to the bathroom, I'll stretch a little bit, or I'll play my Pac-Man game just to kind of get my body like, even though I'm sitting there, like I'll do some stretches and stuff, but like, even though I'm sitting there, it's like my hands are moving, my eyes, like I'm engaged. I'm not just sitting there like just watching something and zooming out, or just scrolling on my phone. Also, people don't realize the power of the electromagnetic energy. So work with crystals and stones that literally like are for that help that. Like black tourmalines is a really good one. These two big selenite blocks in front of you are good to keep in your home too. They literally cannot retain any negative energy. And there are some crystals and stones that are literally put on this earth because they're just vibrant energies. They also, like, you can tell by the lines and stuff in there, they're also carrying frequencies and angelic frequencies of healing. So they're just wanting us to get more connected and more attached to our angel, to our energy, and also, putting something out for the ancestors and allowing them, just a little bit here and there. I mean, every day when I make food, I put a little bit in for spirit. And I forget certain things sometimes, or like I almost every time I have dessert, I don't give it to them. I don't know. And then I don't feel like so guilty. And they're like, it's okay. Because I end up just throwing it out because we've got so many wild animals around here. Like I literally live at the beginning of a wildlife sanctuary. So they're here no matter what. So I'm not like bringing them in. So like for me, anything I give to spirit all day long, at the end of the day, I throw it outside, and like whoever gets it first gets it, you know. But it's nice. It's nice knowing, and it makes me happy too. Like sometimes I'll look outside and I'll see like a bunch of birds like jump on. Like the other day, I threw out some granola, and I was like, I wonder if it'll be there in the morning. And it was like a lot, like kind of like spread out, because I made some homemade granola and it got a little too soft because it was too humid in here, and I didn't feel like crisping it back up. So I'm like, I'm just gonna give it to the animals. Oh my gosh. It looked like they tried to lick the dirt and the grass. So, I mean, it was yummy. It was really yummy. But still, it was just so, you know what I mean? And that makes me happy. I love that it's going back into the earth. I mean, spirit can't actually take it into their body, but the animals can, you know? And also when you put it into the garbage, it's good for when the garbage starts breaking down and decomposing, especially if you're like the other day I was like cleaning and washing the organic celery I got, and I was thinking about that, like how that is gonna, if I put that in with like plastic from like my container of something I had, right? That natural celery is gonna actually break down that plastic. And they literally want us to start thinking of it like that. I mean, I don't know. Oh no, I guess I didn't put the box out. So here is the deck that we're using today, which is Wisdom. It's so powerful. I love it because it kind of reminds me of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, like with her feet there. Speaking of, you know, Wicked and all that. But I thought it was interesting because I have so many decks that are very angel centered. And I love that they wanted to bring in the witch deck because they want you to know, for those of you who don't know this, listen up, because this is the truth. Witches are angels. There, I said it. We come from the angel realm. We come from the angel realm. Absolutely. Positively. Because angels are earth healers, custodians, watchers, protectors. We honor the earth. If you're deeply connected to Gaia, the beautiful planet, she is a goddess. I mean, people forget that we're living on an entity that is ever changing all the time. And she has her atmosphere that's connected to this solar system, but this solar system is connected to the universe, and we're all connected. And they can only like lie and hide and whatever so much, but like now it's like the big guns have come in. It's almost like, not that they want you to laugh at it because, you know, it's part of us, right? But those who are still in the shadow of greed and control and hate and bigotry and all of those things, they are going to have a rude awakening. Literally the next 10 years, we're going to see changes that people probably never, ever, 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 ever thought could ever take place here, but they are. So I love how this, and those of you who love Bubba the Great, my sweet familiar who passed on nearly a year ago now, that piece of bark that's underneath there, when we laid Bubba to rest in the Olympic Mountains, in one of our favorite places, it's where my partner and I were betrothed and where Bubba wanted to be laid to rest. And that was there. I kept hearing like, look for the bark, look for the bark. And I was like, what? And I saw beautiful pieces, and a tree had fallen. There was a lot of, you know, storms and stuff last year. It was in January 31st that she passed, and how crazy that we ended up going there on the 1st of February. I mean, go figure. Which actually I was kind of curious to see what day that lands on. But anyway, so that wanted to come in the last few readings. But yeah, so Imbolc. And I was like, that's so crazy. So Imbolc is during the dark, long, cold winter, the earth has nurtured the potential of life in her deep womb. Now the energy of spring begins to consider its awakening. The life force is taut like a coiled spring, waiting to burst forth through the veins of the earth, and sap is poised to rise in the trees. Now everything seems possible. 'Tis the season of the bride, Saint Brigid, she of many names. She puts her finger in the frozen well, and the water flows again. She touches the earth with her willow wand, and life begins to wake. She will spread her cloak over the land, and it will become green, sparkling with small early flowers. That is the fire of inspiration and poetry, of candles and clarity. As the days lengthen, let us prepare for the growth of the year and plan to realize our own potential. So in real time, it's the 11th, so we still have a few days before we get to February 1st of Imbolc. But I just thought it was so interesting that Bubba died on January 31st. It was on a Friday, which, you know, 31 is 13 backwards. And then the next day we like put her back to the earth. You know what I mean? But we ended up burning her. I said, do you want to be buried or burned? And she's like, I don't really care. It's up to you. So we ended up burning her, and we did a big Viking like bonfire thing like next to the water. It was really powerful. But I said, of course, my love, she wanted to go back to the earth. You know, we saw some of her bones and I was kind of freaked out. I was like, what should we do? Should we bury them? He's like, no, they'll go back to the earth as the ash, you know. It was just really powerful. So there's something about the death and rebirth energy of winter that's so profound. And I know for our Southern Hemisphere, you're in summer, but you understand it's also an energy. Winter is a profound energy, and you don't have to actually like be in winter to experience the winter of life, right? So with that being said, they wanted us to also acknowledge that yesterday was the third quarter moon, which is about transition and forgiveness. And interestingly enough, they had me put the angel, we did a picker reading. I'll put a link below in the description box, so you can go to that if you haven't seen it or know about it yet. But we did a message from the angels, and I just thought it was so interesting the way it all went down, because I ended up doing it on Friday. And they're like, yeah, but Friday was an 11 day. I'm like, oh yeah, because it was the 9th, and 1 is January, and 2026 comes out to 10, but 1. So it was an 11 day. Then they had me post it yesterday, which was the 10th. It was a 1-1-1-1-1 day. And then today I'm going to be doing this and then putting it out on my channel in real time. For me, it'll still be the 11th. 11-11. So very profound, very powerful, but they want you to transition now out of that old life, that old skin, and start going into the release and rebirth energy, right? Like they want us to spend all of January really focusing on the roots of the issues that maybe we're struggling with in terms of healing or moving forward or letting go of the past old version of yourself. You are not your avatar, and you're not your avatar. You're not your blood and bone family. You're not your partners. You know, it's like you are your own person in your own entity. Even if you're spiritually connected to them in some way, shape, or form, you are an individual. And so you are being called to task to align with the angelic energies to be the best version of yourself. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like. So when I looked down, it was 47. I thought it was 33, but it must have been 23. But anyway, all I saw was 47, which is also the number 11. So also when you're transitioning out of these energies or away from these people, they want you to forgive it, right? Like forgive, letting go, you know, they know not what they do. I don't know when they'll have me post it, but I ended up recording a podcast Prophet last night because I had this breakthrough with my mom and my family and my blood and bone, and like why things are the way they are. And it was just really profound. And I feel like I released and let go of so much drama and baggage and anger and frustration. It was really powerful. So today, these are going to be more angel messages, but usually, or not usually, but in a lot of my experience, I'll do a group reading, then a picker reading. But it was kind of interesting. I kind of feel like we did the picker reading first, and now we're doing the collective reading now. So it's kind of cool. I like that. But with that being said, we're going to dive into these cards. And I think that's all they wanted, but they just wanted me to remind us all of Imbolc and to go more on the pagan calendar and not the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar was invented by the Romans to control, to, you know, it was like, it's kind of like anti-Jesus, really. Now, we still celebrate it because we celebrate numerology, but in what world would we want to, you know, jump into working out and changing everything? Like in the winter, it's like, yeah, but the winter is the time that we kind of go inward and reflect and, you know, and start to understand things. Anyway, I've been talking about this for a long time, so a lot of you know, but you get it. Okay. So also, whatever crystals are in front of you, if you're called to, work with them. But the Lapis Lazuli wanted to come in. So I feel like for at least one person. And also, I'm going to bring the flash in so we can see these cards a little bit better. They're so pretty. And look at that lapis. Look at with no flash how dark it was. I love this lapis. It has gold in it too. I wonder if we can find it. I've seen it. Did you guys see it? There's like a gold strip or like a gold band in here. And it reflects sometimes. You can see it. If we're meant to see it, we will. You should see it in the sunlight. It's really powerful. Okay, so work with Lapis Lazuli. It's a really powerful angelic stone. Also, blue lace agate is coming to mind. Work with blue lace agate. Any of the angelic stones, usually like the light blue stones, they call them like the angel crystals, or, you know, because we're connected with that energy, the blue. Okay, so what messages, angels, what, oh gosh, all these flew out. What's going on? What's going on? I feel like this needs a, it's like there's some little hidden like sprites or something from another reading. You know what I mean? Like it feels like an old energy from an old, oh, okay. Thank you, Spirit. So we release and let go of that. I'm actually going to put this here for just a minute. That's interesting. This rarely happens. This rarely happens. Maybe they're trying to call for you guys to put like your healing tools, you know, near like selenite or, you know, any other clear cleaning crystals. Hold on one second. Okay, so while this is getting a little clearing and cleaning, I'm also being called to burn some of this ancient cedar. So I'm going to do a little cleansing and a clearing. I feel like even though we just did that energy thing, there's definitely somebody who's holding on to some pretty heavy energies. I mean, look at this cedar, doesn't even want to burn. It's like 300 or 400 years old. It usually burns pretty fast and pretty easy. Okay. Wow. Now it's going. Now it's going. Okay. Just wanted to burn over here. All right, you guys. So let's take a little moment. Let's take a little break. I'm going to, yeah. So if you need some food, some water, you know, smoke them if you got them. And that's cannabis, by the way. I hope you're not smoking cigarettes, but, you know, go to the bathroom, whatever, and we will meet back here. And it'll be like in a second, but, you know, I'll see you in a minute. And we're back. Okay, feeling much better. Feeling much better. The little antsy in my pantsy went away. Sometimes I'm like that. I can just feel it. I can tell that that's what needs to happen. So anyway, what messages do we need to hear from Spirit? By the way, how are you guys doing? I meant to ask that at the beginning, but so much channeling was happening. How are you guys doing? You know, are you taking good care of yourselves? Are you taking it easy on yourself? One of my friends, we hadn't spoke since like the third week in December, and I was just like, you know, how are your holidays? And they're like, I'm still recovering. They're like really sick. And I was like, that's so interesting. And I find a lot of light workers get really sick around big holidays, you know? So a lot of times because you're giving too much energy, you know? There's something going on here. Do you guys see this? There's like, I don't know if you guys, this really wanted to come in. I feel like I was like, is it dust? I was trying to figure out what it is, but I think that might be something. I dropped it and cracked it. There's like a little crack in there, but you know, I don't get upset because I know it's meant for something, and we use it for scrying. So anyway, okay. So Spirit, what messages do you have for us? Angels, witches, healers, and deep down believers in magic. I feel like they want me to shuffle them like cards. I haven't used them in a long time, and I can feel that like some of them are sticking together. Now we'll see. It's like they're okay. I was going to say, I felt one, but I was like, okay, so, oh, Litha, intensification, Litha, Litha. I don't know where that came from, but I feel like they wanted me to sing that. It always makes me laugh, like when, when I watch other readers and they do that, I realize I'm not the only one. Because sometimes I'm like, I'm hearing things in my head and it's not just thoughts, you know what I mean? Like I can tell specifically it's something's like speaking to me. They want me to read something, so hold on. Okay, so I've got chills all over my body. Because you guys know I have my awesome new calendar book, which I haven't even dissected as much as I've wanted to, but it's because I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm like, I thought I'd be writing it every day, and I'm like, no, I'm like, I'm going through what I'm going through, and that's okay. But I feel like they want us to so summer solstice is Litha, but I feel like that somebody needed to see this, like these specifics. And maybe they want you to, look at like the wheel of the year. Like we were just talking about Imbolc, right? So we had winter solstice on December 21st, 2025. Now Imbolc will be February 2nd. And which I always thought Imbolc was the first. Okay, now I feel really, and I'm just going to put it out there, that because like I told you guys, like we laid Baba to rest she died on the 31st, and then we laid her to rest on the 1st. But I guess technically it was the second on the other side of the world. You know what I mean? That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. But that's interesting too, like, right? Because it's like, depending on where you are in the world, it's like, now this goes by the United States Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So it's going to be different in different parts of the world. So keep that in mind. Okay. But also when I saw this solar festivals, the 4 solar festivals divide the year equally into quarters and are marked by the exact date and time the sun ingresses into the cardinal signs. These are the solstices and equinox. And then here's cross quarter festivals. I don't know who this is for, but I feel like somebody needed to see this, or maybe you're curious. Also, it's on page 13. I love it. I saw Samhain 31, and then I looked down and saw 13, page 13. I'm like, of course it is, the Wheel of the Year. Okay, so the Wheel of the Year celebrates the solar cycle and the 8 fire festivals, which mark the turning points of the seasons. So the fact that we pulled Litha is really powerful because this is summer solstice, and here's what it says in the book. Okay, so it says, which is wisdom. The intensification of the full sun at Litha shines upon you as you step up to the next level. This is a time of focus, development, and determination as you gain strength and reclaim your inner resolve. Dare to explore every avenue before you and do the unexpected. A new gateway has opened, and you may find that you leave others behind as your unwavering dedication leads you away. What were we just saying? See, we just channeled that from spirit. That's interesting. Fear not, for the light of the sun will highlight the path of unfamiliar territory and borrow, if you will, the sun's strength and warmth as you embrace these times of study, focus, and concentration. Diversions may tempt you along the way. You may feel blind for a while as you stumble upon the unknown, but try to remember that these are merely tests of your commitment. The sun gods shine favorably on you and remind you that the answer to your prayer and the outcome of spells happen in mysterious ways. Trust the great mystery. Okay, also I heard drink some water. And the great mystery is spirit, like the universe. Like nobody really knows. Like I'm channeling whatever, but who am I channeling? What am I channeling? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I have names and things that I call them, but what is it? I don't know. Do we really know? Do we care? We have a purpose though. Like I've said before, we're in avatars. You cut us, we bleed. It hurts. So keep that in mind. The as above, so below. You are divinely connected and protected by angels. So get that fear out of there because it doesn't belong to you. The Witch's Foresight says, what you have been waiting for comes into fruition during the summer months. I felt, you guys, this is a collective reading. So that means if you're here right now, that means that everything you've been working on, the dreams that you've been hoping for, all of these things, they're going to come to fruition, or you're going to see some sign of it in some way. And this Litha at this summer solstice. Okay. So obviously, our southern hemisphere just had the summer solstice, so it'll be the following summer solstice. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, now listen, it could be the winter solstice for you, and it might be at the same time, so we may pull more cards, but that is what I channeled right out the gate. And then I said to Spirit really quickly, like, are you sure? Like, because it's not that it didn't feel right. It feels like for some of you it is, and some, you know, because we're all in different like parts of our path. It's all individual. You might just have gotten here and you're just waking up to who you are. And some of you you've been doing this a long time. So yeah, like our summer solstice will be your winter solstice, and it's going to happen at that time. You know what I'm saying? So use your intuition. So it says, what you've been waiting for comes into fruition during the summer months. Shine brightly. Don't give away your personal power. Move forward fearlessly. Call on the strength of the sun gods to break through. Litha Revealed says, the summer solstice marks the height of the sun's powers on the longest day of the year. Thousands gather at Stonehenge, which is what this picture is looking. Let's see if we can zoom in there. Give us a little closer look. Stonehenge. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Hold on, let me pull this back a little bit so we can, you know, it says Litha. We're really just looking at Stonehenge. Cool. And maybe that's there for somebody to scry in the little crystal ball today. I don't know. But interesting, it kind of feels like it's part of the picture. You know what I mean? Do you notice that? Like it looks like it's part of the card or part of the picture. Oops, I don't think that, yeah, they wanted me to do that. Cool. It also looks like, do you guys see, it looks like a spaceship coming down. Interesting. What does that mean? What? I love it. Okay, so thousands gather at Stonehenge each year to witness the rising of the sun over the heel stone. Midsummer was celebrated in ancient times with hilltop bonfires at night to honor the power of the sun over darkness. This is a time of abundance, fulfillment, and strength. Also, I feel like it's on page 59, so that comes out to the number 5 in numerology. But also, just so you guys know this, easy math. Did you know that if there's a number like that and a 9 behind it, it's always going to be 5? Always. Because if you add it together, it's 14, and you add that together, it's 5. You do the same thing with 89. It would be the same. It's kind of cool. But I also feel like for some of you, 59 might be an age. And maybe your birthday's in the summer, and you're going to like maybe you're going to turn 59. If there's anyone here, and if you want to share, we'd love to know. But that's cool, because I feel like this summer, when you turn 59, like your whole world's going to change. And I feel like for at least one person here, and I don't know if it's that same person, but I feel like for some of you, you've been in like a fog for a really long time. And this coming summer, it's like everything's going to make sense. Everything is going to make sense. I'm actually really excited for all of us, because I feel like something really big is about to happen. So they're saying this is a time of abundance, fulfillment, and strength. So this is the little spell from our witchy divine angel family. Here, we can say it together. You can, if you feel comfortable. If you don't do it, okay? In all that you do and all that is done, bringer of life and midsummer sun, intensifies and gives you strength to claim your power at any length. This magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. Whatever's in the greatest and highest good of each individual, I claim it, and so it is. Blessed be Aho. Also, it's on page 58, which you added together is number 13. What? Yup. Intensification. So shit's about to get real. Like shit's about to get real. I just got a vision. You guys, you know these what are they calling them? You know these structures that are just appearing in different countries, and they're metal, and they said, oh, it's just a prank. They're pranks. What are they calling them? Please put it below if you know. Put in the comments. They're not pranks. They're not pranks. They're not pranks. They're markers. It's very interesting. Okay, do we have any more messages, Spirit? Do the angels have any more messages? Do you have any more messages? Also, I just heard unclench your fist, unclench your jaw. I just was feeling like somebody was like my shoulders felt really tight. Spirit saying, relax. Relax. Don't do it. When you're feeling stressed or you're starting to feel like that, they're saying dance. put on some of your favorite music and dance. Even if you dance one song, your body will really thank you for it. Seriously. This is so powerful. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Do we have any more messages through this deck today? That's a big one. I feel like I almost kind of feel like this might be it, you guys, because I asked if we were going to, oh, my eyes went to this. This is our mantra. Miracles now. Miracles now. Just keep saying, I believe in magic and miracles. I believe in magic and miracles. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Right? I think about it every night and day. I got these angel wings, I can fly away. They're saying like, you have got what you need. You have everything you need inside of you. Wow, this one just like almost bounced out. Okay, so broomstick clearance. Yes. Time to clear the clutter. And look at that rainbow in there. Yeah, it's time to clean it up. Time to clean it up. Let me move this over a little bit and we'll put this here. Okay. So let's see what the broomstick has to say. Very witchy. We love it. Oh, I have the chills all over my body. I got the chills. They're multiplying. Okay. Clearance. The witch's wisdom. You are in urgent need to create space for the energies you are calling upon in order for them to take their rightful place. You wonder why your spell work has dimmed, why all you have asked for has not yet been made manifest. The answer is that the stench of clutter surrounds you. It's time for a clearing. I got the chills. For magic needs space in order to be birthed, so get rid of all that you no longer need and is not aligned with who you are today. Yes. I was watching something recently and the person was going through their wardrobe and everything that they were like pulling out, they were saying, oh my gosh, I wore this when I did this, blah, blah, blah. And when I worked as a wardrobe stylist and would go into people's homes, I would say to them, okay, I want you to go through, I would sit with them and I'd say, we would go through the closets, everything from the shoes to the everything, hats. We went through the drawers. We went through everything together. And what I realized, what I was really doing was just acting as like a therapist while they just wanted to kind of relive the experience. But almost every single thing that they kept had a memory attached to it. I'm like, so you don't wear it? They're like, no. And I'm like, would you wear it again? Some they're like, maybe. Or they're like, oh, if I ever fit into it again. Or, different story for everybody. But the one commonality that I found with everybody was attachment. So it could be for some of us, you're still, ooh, listen to that. The chimes are calling. The angels are like, that's it, that's it, that's it. It's attachment. So we really need to do one more purge. I felt it myself. My favorite pendulum got lost recently. And yeah, I could probably go back there and try and find it, whatever. But I just was like, I need to let it go. It was starting to fall apart anyway. And I got the vibe from Spirit to take it apart and keep certain things from it and release it. And I was just like, meh. And the day that I lost it, it fell on the ground and I went to pick it up and it was stuck like in the carpet kind of. I have a wool rug. It was kind of like stuck in there. And then like my foot was on it too. And when I pulled really quickly, I thought I broke it. So it's kind of interesting. And then when I realized later that I lost it, I was like, what is happening? I'm like, this is crazy. So obviously it was time for it to go, And I have one that I've had for years that was my grandmother's. And it's just that it's heavier, it's a chain, and it's just like more intense. Where the other one was like a little more lightweight and, whatever. It doesn't matter. I digress. So what I'm saying is, whether we want to get rid of stuff or not, sometimes the universe does it for us. So if you have anything that's like tattered or whatever, I mean, obviously if you are a painter or you have cleaning clothes, of course, keep those. You know what I mean? Like I do that. I have clothes that are literally, I just keep them when they're getting like really gross. I just keep them for when I'm doing yard work for, whatever. They're not my like everyday clothes. And I literally have a drawer just for them, because that's their purpose. So I get it. But like what they're saying is to go through everything, your whole house. And it doesn't have to be in one day. You can tackle one drawer one day. And the thing is, by the time you're done, I just, Drop Dead Gorgeous is free on YouTube right now. And I love the scene where Amber Adkins, they're being interviewed, you know, for this beauty pageant. And she gets the hardest question because, you know, the mom is running the pageant. She wants her daughter to win, but she's the only girl who could actually beat her daughter for real. And so she does all these things and puts all these obstacles in her way to get her to quit. And all the other girls have basically the same questions, and they're so silly. They're like, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? You know? But instead, when it gets to her, they're like, okay, so name all the 50 states and name and spell all the 50 states in alphabetical order. And she's like, seriously? And he's like, yeah. And she starts out like so timid. She's like, Alabama, Alabama, you know, and she's like all cute. And then she's going through them, you know, she's like, you know, Arizona or whatever. And like she's going through them. And then like they show like a thing that's like a minute later, and she's like, West Virginia, and she's like, WEST, you know, because when she starts out, it seems like a huge daunting task, and she's like, what the fuck, like, and she didn't see what the other girls were at, so she didn't know, so she's just like, oh great, you know, but by the end, she proves to herself that not only could she do it, but she did it in like a minute, and it's super impressive. So she's so proud of herself, and that's what Spirit wants you. If they pull me to, I'll put a link in the description box. You have to watch it. It's so fucking funny. It's so bad. It's so bad it's good, you know, because it's like one of the first like eras of the satire movies, like where they're basically making fun of like that energy. So it's like, if you look at it from that aspect, and it's not making fun of it to be mean, it's just like the ridiculousness of it, you know, but it's funny as hell, and the actors are so good. You forget, like, or at least I forgot, I was like, literally every single actor in there is really, really good, and so many of them are really famous now, so it's so cool. I mean, Allison Janney is like the best. Anyway, I digress again, but a lot of magic in that movie. But that's what they want us to look at it like. Things might look like a daunting task from the beginning, but once you start doing it, you're going to feel good. And after you get like, you know what I like to do? This is me personally. You do what works for you. But what works for me is I take the worst task first, and then I work my way to the smaller tasks. And I have found in my own personal experience that it's because as I'm getting closer, my momentum and it's getting stronger. I'm like, wow, I got that big, ugly task done. I mean, I went through like, you know, the junk drawer and separated everything, and like, you know, and it's like, it was like the little things, and it really made a difference. And then the more I started cleaning and getting winterized and all that, I was like, wow. And now I feel really good. Like today, my house was starting to feel really gross and whatever, but like, I just like changed all the bedding and did my shower and my hair, and you know what I mean? It's like, and when I do all that and like shake all the rugs out and clean the bathroom, I was like, I feel so good. I know that I'm going to feel better. It may feel daunting, and I get it for our Northern Hemisphere people that are in winter, right? Like things seem daunting, but whenever you don't want to do something, keep me in mind that I live off grid, and that the things that I have to go through, and if I can do it, I know you can do it. You have running water. I have to retrieve my water. I have to boil my water. I have to, you know, I'm like, so it's not that I don't want to like take showers every day or take baths all the time. It's just that it's a daunting task, but I do it, and it keeps me focused, and it keeps me good, and it keeps me grounded to the earth, and being grateful for every drop of water that I use, and not just wasting things. I feel like this is a wake-up call for all of us. It's a new time, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, right? So clean it up. Remember, they've been saying this in a lot of our readings, you guys. They've been coming through with a lot of different things. They've been saying, clean it up. It's time to clean it up. So they said, the answer is that stench of clutter that's surrounding you. And they're saying the stench could be also just like negative energy. Like do a smudging. You know what I mean? Even washing the walls. Like sometimes it's surprising. Like I'll take like lavender water, or sometimes I get like those 7th generation wipes. Those are really nice too. But then I reuse them with like lavender water too, because those things will last quite a bit because they're made with plant fibers. So long story short, the energy, like I was like, oh, like that didn't even look dirty to me. And then I wiped it down and I was like, oh shit, you'd be surprised, you know? So it could even be like maybe around your kitchen area where you like to cook, like, you know, clean the grease off that back wall, you know, like the little things like that. It will make you feel better, they're saying. So it's time for a clearing, for magic needs space in order to be birthed. So get rid of all that you no longer need and is not aligned with who you are today. Clean up, sort out the trash, donate to charity, rearrange furniture, and create some sacred space so you can work, feel at peace, and connected to yourself and the divine. Call upon your trusted friend Broomstick to move widdershins as it sweeps away the unnecessary contents of your mind, removing the constant internal chatter that has prevented you from hearing the voice of spirit clearly. Out with the old and in with the new, because that's the way the witches do. Yes, and the witch's foresight says, stale energies are preventing you from receiving and moving forward. Time for a spring cleaning. Only keep around you that which makes you feel positive. Meditate and pray to clear your mind. Clean up your act and purify your thoughts and actions. So I get that if you are watching this in real time and it's like dead of winter, but they're saying a little bit each day. It's okay to be hibernating, you know, and sometimes I set a really small goal for myself so that when I do extra stuff, I'm like, cool, I got that and those things done. And, you know, I think it's a part, like a lot of us too, it's connected to our childhood, you know, depending on how you were raised or where you were raised or whatever. But I mean, I grew up in that very, you know, Christian, like, cleanliness is next to godliness, and like these little terminologies and things that were thrown at us all the time. But maybe it's not like who we are or where we are. You know, some days you don't want to fucking shower. That's okay. Some days you just want to be dirty. I woke up this morning and I was like, I can always feel when I'm like, okay, I've pushed it a little too far. Like I can always kind of feel it because I'm like, oh yeah, like everything needs to go. Like everything needs to be clean today, me included, you know. And I felt that because I was really holding on to my hair color. I didn't want to wash my hair too much because I was noticing I'm like the color just faded so quickly. And that was part of it. But like I can feel today that my hair was like, I need water. Like we need to put our head under the water. Like, you know. So they're saying like when you know, you know. So don't push yourself. If you don't want to do it that day, do it the next day. Because when you're ready, you will do it. And have faith that you will. So it says, stale energies are preventing you from receiving and moving forward. Time for a spring cleaning. Only keep around you that which makes you feel positive. Meditate and pray to clear your mind. Clean up your act and purify your thoughts and actions. We needed a second go at that. The Broomstick Revealed says, the broomstick or besom is a magical tool used to sweep away negative energy from the ritual space and to sweep in positive energy before the ritual. Placed upright at the front door or by the hearth, it protects those who live within the home. Used in hand fasting, the couple hold hands and jump over the broomstick, bestowing fertility. It's also on page 27, which is the number 9. And here is our little witch's prayer. And it says, give a tickle and flick with a helpful broom. Let's clear some space and make some room. Open windows, let air in. Clear the way around within. The magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be. There, it is done. And so it is. Whatever's in the greatest and highest good of each individual, we claim it. Blessed be. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Okay, let's see if we have any more messages. No, yes, no, yes. Let's see. Sometimes when they start shuffling, when they don't let me shuffle anymore, I take that as a no. Okay, Spirit. Do we want to look at anything else or read from anything else or do any more channeling for our group reading today? Nope. These are your messages from the angels. And they're saying for the individual, if you want to go a little deeper, follow the link in the description box for the latest pick a reading. If Spirit calls me to, I'll put a little angel emoji on there so that you can kind of see that it's a little different from the other things, because sometimes they have me, you know, put other links in there too. but I believe there were 3 readings. So whichever one, you know, one or ones, maybe there's more than one that you're called to, but they're messages from the angels. And I feel like they're just a little more in depth than where we went today. This definitely felt like a group reading. I feel like we all needed this. We all needed to hear this. And I also love the fact that I did such a cleaning today before we did this. It's like, but that tells me too, like, I'm right on track. Like, I didn't know we were going to do this deck. I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know, you know, and that's the great part too, is living in the flow and in the now. You see all the resonance and you see all the, like, they're not coincidences, you know what I mean? Like, they're meant, it's meant to be there. They're, everything aligns exactly, as they say, a wizard always arrives exactly when they're meant to. So I love you. Spirit loves you. Take really good care of yourselves and each other, and we will touch base again soon. Remember, we are now in the 8th moon phase, which is the rest and restore. So if you're not feeling it, don't do it. I find this last thing I have to tell you, this is something that is very interesting too. And I'm wondering if it's likened to food allergies, and I'll explain in a second. But I find that a lot of times when I want to go to the laundromat, or the times that I'm like, okay, next week is perfect, let's go to the laundromat, it's always the last moon cycle. And I was like, and then when we go or we plan it or whatever and it gets closer, I can feel that I'm like, I don't really want to go. You know, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to. And then I realized, because I was born on a moon day, I'm a moon baby, but as witches and healers and deep down believers in magic and angels that we are, like, we follow Gaia's rhythm. And Gaia's rhythm goes at the rhythm and the behest of the sun and the moon. So when the moon is going to the end of the cycle, it's the rest and restore phase for the moon. And it's also the rest and restore phase for us, which is why it's darker at night and the moon's not as lit, right? Like, you know, they want us to align with that energy. So this could even be the reason, you know, they had Imbolc come in. So maybe they're just trying to say, like, you know, if you're not ready to do this yet, at least by Imbolc, by like the beginning of February, at least start making some changes. Go through, you know, one drawer, go through one side of your closet, you know, whatever it is. Even things like Tupperware, you know, you got it. You know, you got that cabinet where you're like, it's like no man's land. It's like, just get rid of no man's land. Why is there anything in there? You know, the bigger the houses that people got, the more they needed to fill the space, right? But you don't need to fill the space. That's why people are going back to tiny, because they're realizing they don't need that much shit, especially the light workers, the healers, and deep down believers in magic, right? Like, we don't need this. We understand that they're just material things, but we like them and they're fun and we like to play with them. And, you know, I was watching one of my favorite readers, and she was talking about this doll that she, you know, saw in a store, and she walked around many times, and then she was just like, fuck it, I love this little doll. It has no purpose, I know, but I want it. And it made me think about when I bought Maddie, my little troll doll, for myself for my birthday many moons ago. I totally knew what she meant. I was like, I just needed to have it. But when she got it home, she had just put up this picture of herself when she was a child, and she put it up in her little place where she sees it all the time. And she remembers now that every dream that little girl wanted, what were her hopes and dreams and wishes, she's like, I'm going to fulfill them for her. Like, it's my duty to do that for her. You know, she's trusting me to do that. And it was so cute, because when she put the doll next to the picture, the doll is in the same position as she is in the picture, even down to the way they're holding their hands. And I was like, yeah, it's almost like that's the way she sees herself, in this like kind of like angelic little doll. That's her. But in her human avatar as a child, she looks different. But it was really powerful. I just got the chills. So it's not stupid. I don't care if you're 85 and you're watching this and you're like, yeah, I've been thinking I wanted to play with Legos. Then fucking play with Legos. You know, like, seriously, this is the time. Whatever is calling to you, it's part of your path. It's part of your purpose. If you're aligning with it, you know, my music has been a part of me forever. And I love acting and I love like doing all these things. I'm a muse, I get it, but like, music is just something that I don't know how to explain it. And I just know it's going to play a part in my life somehow. So, you know, but I'm allowing it to show itself to me the way it needs to. I've been writing songs for so long. And recently I've been writing these other songs that are just so different from things that I've ever written before. And it's really cool. I'm just allowing it to be. And then I listened to one song that I started writing after I had just wrote this other song. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're the same song, but I didn't realize, like, one was part of the bridge and the chorus, and that's why they kind of sounded the same, but I didn't, and I'd written them at different times. So you just never know when the magic is going to come together in this culmination of like awesomeness. So please be open, work with the angels, call them in. You know, some of them, obviously, you know, if they're meant to be with us or talk to us or do things for us and it's written, then it's going to happen. So just allow it. But sometimes, you know, when we're struggling and we feel like that we really can't push on, that's when we say, okay, higher self, angels, please help me. Because I don't know. I'm not seeing the signs. I'm not seeing the breadcrumbs. That happened to me recently. Then they showed me a different way and I realized I needed to be different. And I'm changing, and we're all going to keep changing and evolving and growing. I find myself sounding like people that I knew from my past. And I'm like, it's like the chicken and the egg. It's like, did I sound like them because whatever? Did they sound like me? Did we just start to sound like this together? And then I realized I'm going to let that go, because if I'm thinking of them when I'm having my own languaging and my own experience, there's something there. So that tells me, you know, so I've been trying to change the way I speak, my patterns. You're going to hear a lot of change and transformation from me as well. But, you know, we all have a lot of shit to unpack, okay? So just allow it to happen. I love you so much. Spirit loves you so much. I can't wait to talk to you next time. But until then, be well, take good care of yourselves and each other. And like I said, don't forget to check out the things in the description box. And if you'd like to contribute to this channel in any way, shape, or form, all that information is in the description box, as well as my email address. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one in any respect, it's all in the description box, okay? And I work on a sliding scale. There are no, it's like that. There are no small parts, only small actors. It's like there is no small, there is no amount, you know? If it's like, that's between you and spirit. I've always said that, okay? So if it's $5, it's $5. If it's $500, it's $500. Whatever is meant to be will be. I'll see you then. Blessed be. Oh, bye.